It's a contentious issue, but today, after he was challenged by his political opponent David Perdue in the upcoming election, Governor Brian Kemp today stated that he was very clearly a proponent of Second Amendment rights.
The governor of the great state of Georgia.
A new push by Governor Brian Kemp with the election on the horizon.
Law-abiding citizens should have their constitutional rights protected, not undermined.
Governor Kemp supports dropping the need for a license to carry a handgun in public.
It's time that we stood up and give citizens a right to protect themselves.
More than 20 states currently allow permitless carrying, and just last year, Tennessee adopted this policy.
We saw a huge increase of just handgun sales.
Chase Sneed has worked at Posey's in Cleveland for 13 years, and he says the law not only increased sales, it also helped keep the state safer.
I think it's a good thing that they passed it. It gives more people carrying guns and I think less crime overall.
And while the law won't remove background checks in Georgia, not everyone is on board with removing the restrictions.
It's a game that could cost Georgians their lives.
Courtney Spriggs worked in law enforcement for 15 years, and she says the legislation is a dangerous political play.
Our permitting standards are pretty low anyway. And so to have someone not be vetted at all in order to carry a firearm is incredibly dangerous.
A study by the American Journal of Public Health found that states adopting permitless carrying had an 11% increase in handgun homicide and a 13 to 15% increase in violent crimes.
One more way to take away safety from deputies on the street.
But Kemp says the legislation isn't complete, and they will work to make sure the law bolsters safety as well as constitutional rights.
We're going to work with them to perfect the legislation. We'll be talking more about that in the days to come.
And we reached down to Chattanooga's police department as well as Bradley County and Hamilton County to see if they've seen an increase in violent crime since the legislation took place last year. And currently we're waiting to hear back.
Here on Chattanooga's Chapman Road, there are dozens of car dealers looking to sell their used cars. But with the rise in used car prices recently, buyers are left shocked when they show up to the dealership. Now, many who need basic transportation can't afford it.
I told them, what I could afford, and they basically said there was nothing in that price range I could get.
Kim Parrott just bought her Mitsubishi Mirage for $14,000 in June. She says it was a lot more than she's used to paying for a used ride.
I would say maybe a year or two ago, it would have been probably about $8,000.
Parrott says she wanted to hold off on buying, but she needed transportation. But these high prices aren't just affecting buyers.
By the looks of my car lot, I've only got like 6, and I usually keep 15 to 20.
With a shrinking lot and high demand for used cars, dealer Matt Snowden says these days a sale is a sale.
If somebody comes in, if I can make $200 or $300 on one, I'll do it. If I make $1,000, I'll do it. But I don't believe I'd sell any for a loss right now.
According to Edmunds.com, in November, the average price of a used vehicle in the U.S. was just over $29,000. That's 39% more than the previous year.
And they're looking at $5,000 to $7,000. Those cars don't exist.
The CEO of Chattanooga Federal Employees Credit Union advises buyers that it's important to decide whether your purchase is a want or a need, because many can't afford it at the moment.
What's sad about that is in order to have a job in the Chattanooga market, you've got to have your own transportation.
And some advice from Parrott to those looking for a used car right now?
And I would hold off and actually save you some money.
I went up to Signal Mountain today. We're getting up and down the mountain can be difficult in icy weather, but the highway department was prepared and residents say they're ready.
The Tennessee Valley is weather alert yet again, with temperatures dropping as low as the upper 20s and a chance of snow.
It's just been within a few days of each other, right? 80 degrees and sandals to snow.
Signal Mountain residents recall the drastic change in temperature just over a week ago.
It's a big shock because I have no clue what to wear.
Higher elevations typically see the most snowfall, which Craig Lewis says can make travel difficult.
The W is hard to navigate when it gets slick, and sometimes they have to close it. and it doesn't take much to shut down Roberts Mill or the front of the mountain.
He says just on Monday, his wife struggled to get down the mountain to take her mom to the airport.
She ended up having to drive the other way on Taft over down through Sequatchie County.
Ryan Womack says Signal Mountain does a good job prepping and treating their roads.
With it, you'll always see trucks out, salting the roads, getting them ready.
TDOT says they've been out pre-treating state routes and interstates and say all their salt supplies have been replenished in preparation for snowfall.
Hopefully not that much ice or snow will stick if we happen to get it in our higher elevations or whatever.
But some families on Signal Mountain are hoping it will stick, as students in several districts will be getting a day off.
I got home and my daughter started dancing because she doesn't have to go to class tomorrow. And hopefully it will snow for them and we can go over to the golf course and sled with them.
And just tonight, we also learned the city of Chattanooga has taken precautions to handle the winter weather tomorrow. The city says they have 15,000 gallons of salt brine in holding tanks, 300 tons of sand and more. Also, all city buildings will be closed.